golfer I have ever seen.
The worst golfer, but win the first tournament.
What up, boy?
Oh, man.
I thought he said he would have his chest out.
I just want to tell y'all.
What's up, boss?
B, I would pull this thing
Good
down.
with you.
I didn't know this joint was
dog. You
hard
got
like
it?
that.
Man,
How you gonna, I can't do nothing for you. You going this way? I can't pick it up. I'm just
People
gonna be
think
honest.
that these ropes are made of like.
Yeah, bro. Why this joint so hard?
That shit
How
hard
you
as.
doing?
Good. How are you? I'm Ryan.
good,
Pleasure to meet
Bianca.
you. Yes, ma'am. Hey,
Where
Chan.
you wanna-
B got way more muscles than you.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm skinny right now. Well, I'm
No,
little right
I
now.
don't worry about no muscles no
I was
more,
telling
man.
him, I've been
Muscles a
leaning
waste
for
of time.
Mania,
Okay.
and I don't know what happened. I didn't mean to do this. I'm like shrinking.
For the sport, though, what is it better to be lean, though?
Either one, like honestly, it's better to have like a little bit of padding
Yeah.
for me at least, because when you hit these ropes and you hit the ground, like I like to have a mass. I feel like it protects me more.
Can I ask you a question, though? How you let your homegirls burn you like that at the brunch? Like, I'm just saying, they were out here mothering and
I wish I could say that that was like fake. No, but they were like serious. So we actually went from brunch, and we had a couple of adult beverages, and I thought we were just like playing. You know, we're gonna go to the track. I was like, how did we end up on somebody's high school track? I thought we were just playing, and they took off, and I couldn't. No, so I'm gonna mess around, and pull both hamstrings. No,
the start was bad.
Yeah.
They got out on you.
I think they were
They-
prepared. I think this
they
was
were
something that was building up for
serious.
years, and they said, you know what? When we get the chance, we dusting her on her own damn show.
They talked about it on the ride to the house. They were like, we going in. No, they left me.
Who say let's go drink and then go race?
When you get girls together at brunch, crazy things happen.
Oh, I know about brunch
So-
in Miami now.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Trust, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key.
Well, guys, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Also, thank you for letting us in your world.
Oh, no.
I don't think people know how hard these ropes are.
Yeah.
They're pretty stiff. I remember like the first tryout I had initially, I think we all had like bruises from like hitting the rope so many times, and you just don't like you say, you don't realize how actually strong they are. But they make sure it's got to support a lot of weight. They got guys from 500 pounds to 20 pounds like me being on the top rope.
So let me introduce you guys. You obviously need no introduction. Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, WWE Superstars. That's Chan, that's Freddie T. I'm RC. Welcome to the Pivot. We're extremely honored to have you sit down with us. Okay, guys, the last time we had a couple in the room for a show, it was Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles. And we started a bit of a gender war because Jonathan said he was the catch.
Oh.
And obviously the rest of the world believed that Simone was the catch, right? And I saw you tell your story. You know, you guys met while in WWE when you first started. You waited a few months.
I did.
Before. So I want to know, how did it actually happen? Who shot their shot? What were the lines used? How did you get a date? And I'm gonna come to you because I know you're gonna tell us the truth.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's three sides to every story, you know, one side, the other side, and the truth, you know. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead.
And you say you're gonna start with you. Tell your perspective.
But, you know, beautiful ladies always first. I'm a gentleman.
You want me, ladies
Yeah,
first? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So basically, this building that we're in right now at the Performance Center, this is where we met. This is where you come when you're first trying to learn how to wrestle, and both of us didn't have any experience. So he was here about a year before me, and I came in. So the very first time I saw him, my friends beside me, and I was like, that is a beautiful man, keep him away from me. And they didn't keep him away from me, so I went and got him. So I shot the first shot, but we ended up, it was one of our coworkers. She was like, okay, it's a whole new class that just came in. Let's all go for sushi. Let's all like get to know each other. So I'm sitting there and just talking, and he walks in. I'm like, hey, that's him right there. That's the dude. And so the whole night, I'm just trying to like, my friends on this side, I'm just turning from my friends. I'm just trying to like talk to him, and he's just not giving me no play. Like nothing, not giving me nothing. So I'm trying. And it was during the NBA finals. And we were going to the movies afterwards. And he was saying, like, we were all going to the movies. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna go and watch the game. So I'm just like, so you're just gonna go watch the game? You're not gonna come, like, hang with us? Like, this is the plan for the night. So he kind of looked, and he was like, okay, cool. So we go to the movies. You know how you're, like, sliding in the aisle, like, next to each other, like, whoever you're next to is who you're gonna sit next to. So I position myself in the line, so I'm next to him, so we'll slide in the line together. And so I sit in the seat, and then he, like, leaves the seat here and then sits in the next seat. So I'm just like, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. Like, this is my first time ever, like, trying to shoot my shot with a guy, for one, and it's just not working. And so then afterwards, we end up going to, like, another, like, little bar afterwards. And he just, like, he ends up turning to me, and he's just like, I like your makeup. And I was like, oh, how do I take that? Is that why he hasn't been, like, biting? Like, what do you mean by that? And then he's like, I was like, you like my makeup? He's like, well, I always like your makeup. And I was like, oh, so you've been watching me. Okay. And I don't know why it took so long, but then that night we were inseparable. I ended up giving him the wrong number, which he says to this day was on purpose, but it was not. The next day,
I feel
I'm like,
you would have made sure it was the right number if it
you.
was
Yeah.
that important to you.
listen, it
Almost
wasn't
8, 9
on
years talking about
purpose.
this.
It wasn't on purpose. So the next day, I'm sitting there like, why is this dude not texting me? Like, what is up with this guy? Like, is he trying to play hard to get? Meanwhile, he's texting the wrong number and not getting a text back, and it all messed up. But now the guy that I gave the wrong number to, now we're married. So been inseparable ever since.
So
I like your makeup.
Wait,
that
talk
was
about
your
though. She
best?
the EST though. He not.
So
She the
right.
EST.
Right.
Not him.
Not me.
Come on, bro.
So, like, I was nervous because, like, I was trying to break the ice and I didn't really know, like, what to say initially. You know, you see someone as beautiful as that, it's just like,
You got one shot.
exactly. And you don't want to mess that up.
Right.
And so, like, I just want to be correct. I know she was talking about in the beginning how, you know, I was kind of, like, trying to, like, avoid her. But I also wanted to, like, see, like, the mode. You know, you don't want to be brushing up on somebody if they ain't really, you know, give you that green light. And plus, you know, I thought she was a beautiful woman, but also, like, the way I was raised, like, always respect the person's boundaries and, you know, see what the setting is first. And ended up getting the wrong number. And I remember the whole next day, I was just like, dang, man, I'm, like, texting her and everything. I thought last night was, you know, cool. We had a nice conversation, you know, out there, social, you know, talking to everyone, enjoying a good vibe in the setting here in Florida, new environment, beautiful woman. No text back. Then come to find out, wrong number. But I was like, you know what? Maybe this was a test to see how much effort I was going to make to actually get the
So
right
you double
number.
texted then.
Yes. Double text, the same number, but it kept showing up the green. I was like, no, she don't look like no Android type person.
I was though at the time. I was Android. It took me a minute, but
But it's good times. I'll always remember those times because it was a time in which I had, like, at the same time I was suffering like a concussion. And I remember I was coming back during rehab and she was there. And I remember she was talking about initially how she would try to go up and say something, but I was so focused on, when you're in this environment, the PC, and there's so many things going on and you're brand new, you're trying to learn not only just the environment, but just wrestling itself as a whole, because there's a lot that goes into professional wrestling. And I think at the time with me trying to figure out the injury and figure out who I am as a WWE superstar, and not just a person, but just a WWE superstar, all those things happen at the same time. But the blessing is all the things were happening at the same time kind of like shaped my life for the next pretty much 9 years.
And it was during a time when, like, in the Performance Center, people really weren't dating like that. Like, it wasn't a thing. It was like, you come, don't date, focus on wrestling. Like, even Mark Henry that got me into WWE, got me my first tryout, he was like, whatever you do, don't be dating these knuckleheaded boys up here. And meanwhile, it was like my second or fourth month here, and he's having this conversation with me, and meanwhile, I'm like, okay.
Ship done sail.
Too late.
I got you another
You know, and but it was a thing where it was like, even if you did date, it was very low key. Nobody really posted about it. I mean, we were kind of one of the first couples to really like put it out there and post and not care.
Probably the first.
But
and I remember like it got to a point like I just got exhausted because we were trying to keep a secret at first.
Right.
Like the PC here when you're driving in, like we would ride up in her Mustang and she was like, all right, I'm gonna drop you off here and I'm
Drop
gonna
'em
walk
off
in
down
and
the
then
street.
it was really at this street here in Florida hot.
Yeah.
So I would get dropped off at the street and I'd be walking and like, man, you know what? This love? Walking out here in this hot? This is love? You know what? I ain't hiding this no more.
That's a
So
different walk of shame.
It is. It's just
You
like,
can't drive me to the door.
to the door. Can't walk in with me. I gotta get dropped off in this hot sun. Shit, losing 5 pounds before I even go on the PC.
So we're not doing this no more post.
And that's what
Post-eviction.
that's what it came to. It's like, you know what? It's just a couple of those hot walks. With when the sweat hits and that drip just goes and it just gets uncomfortable. That's what happens. See, my hands sweating now. See, see?
It runs down that spine and then
Yes.
it gets that butt crack.
Yes. You like, I just washed it. I don't feel clean no more. Whole body can be clean. As soon as that sweat hit, it's like, you got get back.
We all go through these amazing journeys in life, right? Pivot after pivot. Our professions sometimes lead us to different opportunities. Initially when I was thinking of this question, I wanted to ask you that through all of your experience and everything that's come with being in the WWE, what's the best place or favorite experience, or would you guys say finding each other has been that favorite experience?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think no one's ever asked us that.
I went first last time. You go ahead.
I definitely would say meeting my wife. I've always loved wrestling ever since I was a tadpole. I've been watching this since I was 7 or 8 years old. And this is kind of like one of the escapes I had. I didn't have a troubled childhood at all. We did have blended families, extended families, but my mother always took care of us, still saw my father, everything. But wrestling was kind of like my escape because around 2000, I lost my oldest sister to a car accident. So wrestling was kind of like the thing that always kept me going. It's kind of like my escape. I didn't really understand at the time when it happened because I was so young, but wrestling was kind of like the escape. I had all this energy and I didn't know what to do with it. But wrestling was like that thing that kind of added all those things together. So for me getting to the WWE and meeting my wife, it was like I have the thing I love and the person I love, and it's kicking off at the exact same time. And I feel like being in this environment, which it is strenuous, like any job, profession, career, you all know, I feel like those two meeting at the same time is kind of like what took me off to not only just stay focused, but just to ground myself and to I feel like it was the actual first time too, meeting her. And at the time I met her, that I made an adult decision in my life. I feel like I was an adult at the time when everything was happening. The decision of us moving forward was one of the most adult decisions I've ever made. So I definitely say that. Not trying to up no ante here, babe, for you to, but yeah, follow that. Oh, sorry.
We done had too many pillow talks, because he stole my answer. No, definitely, for me, I have a different story. He's loved wrestling since he was a kid. His photos of him in his backyard with a title when he was 9 years old. Me, I'm on the other end where I didn't really watch wrestling growing up. My brother was the one who watched it. So when we fought over the remote, I had to watch it with him. So I saw it then. So when I came into WWE, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but it completely changed my life. I never imagined being a wrestler. Now I can't imagine not being a wrestler. So it completely changed my life. But I will say that I think the best moment for me was meeting my husband. And the same thing, before I was just kind of living through life and settling, and then I came to WWE and it opened up this whole new world for me. And it was the first time I made a decision too, where I wasn't going to my parents, are you sure this is the right decision? It was he gave me permission to live my dream and be happy. And because of that, it pushed me to live my dream here. And we were able to do this together. And now that we're in this together, we're experiencing all these amazing things together.
And the Hulu, Love and WWE. Because we watched it. We all watched that stuff. I had an opportunity to be on couples retreat with my wife one time. And everybody said that it's going to put a lot of pressure on your relationship. It put extra pressure. And we don't need no more pressure on our relationship.
Right.
Being as open as y'all are, like you said, y'all had to jump out and let everybody know. Is that pressure on y'all's relationship, is that a struggle?
It hasn't been yet. I mean, we're season 1, like 1 season in. But it hasn't been yet. You know, I was always somebody that I was like, I will never do reality TV. I never want to do it. It's not for me. I don't think I have the personality for it. I don't even want to do it. I don't want my business out there. I've always felt like he was more the personality for reality TV, but I learned to never say never. Because when the opportunity presented itself, we just saw it as an opportunity to like show not just the WWE universe what it's like to be a WWE superstar and the new meaning of what a WWE superstar is, but to show the world and show people that might not be wrestling fans and show them how we do this together. And when we went into it, we talked about it and we were like, okay, we're not making nothing up. We're just gonna go and be us. We're not trying to do it the right way. We're just trying to do it the real way, and what comes with it comes with it. And people are going to have an opinion, but the most important opinion is the opinion that we have of each other. But I mean, we were very particular about what we wanted to share and not share, because we always want a piece that we can keep for ourselves. Like, we're on live TV every week as these characters, and we're giving so much to the world that sometimes we don't even have enough to give to each other when we come home, or enough to give to our families. Like, our families share us with the world. And so that was mainly like the thing that we were worried about, is like, we already share so much with the WWE universe. We already share so much with the world. Are we sharing too much where we won't have enough for each other when it's just us? But we tried to like keep that in focus and not create drama, not create mess, like just show us and show, like, might not be doing it the right way. We just trying to figure it out like everybody else. So once we went about it that way, I feel like we kind of took the pressure off of ourselves.
Right.
That's real.
I think too, like, we was, I mean, you always see the stigma of like how reality TV shows are, and like, we just wanted to pivot.
See what you did there.
That boy do TV.
That boy good.
That boy do TV.
You know what I'm saying? But we just wanted to pivot and actually do something that was positive for the world. I'm so big on, like, I was raised in the church, and like, I was so big on like just being a light to the world and putting something out there in the world that's not out there. You know, like, we have the blessed platform to be on such a big platform, but also to put something positive out there. And so instead of us just trying to fit into the stigma and try to get viewers or ratings, we was like, you know what, let's just try something different, something genuine, something that's us. And if they don't like it, then that's fine. At least we didn't have to like confine or change who we are. We just be ourselves, and because that's what we did from day one. And I think that's what we always stuck with, just being ourselves. And if people don't like it, then that's okay. We like each other.
Which is the biggest thing. And liking someone as opposed to loving them and living with them is that's two different conversations. One thing I love about the show is, in watching it, you totally push back on any toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing to see not only the support, but also continuing to encourage. And one of the strongest moments in the show was when you guys were training for the competition and you wanted to tell him that you couldn't do it. And part of that was you spoke about your unhealthy relationship with food, and you brought up bulimia, you brought up binge eating, and I know that was something you dealt with in college. What were those moments like, and what made you comfortable enough to share that?
Ooh, yeah, so I was a track athlete in high school and in college, and so I was always like the bigger, muscular girl. Like, I could go down and do 10 push-ups and look like a Roblox character. Like, I would just gain muscle mass. So
I heard one time you said you did 10 push-ups and looked like Dwight Howard.
yeah, well,
did.
actually,
We call it a boulder shoulder.
both his shoulders. I actually met him. He was at a tryout at SummerSlam a couple of years ago, and he was like, let's take a picture together. And I was like, yeah, cool. He's like, wait, we got the same shoulders. I was like, I know, we look like two Roblox characters. It's all good. So we just like taking a picture. But I was always like the bigger, muscular girl. So they always told me you can run faster if you just need to lose weight. Like, my weight was always an issue in high school, all throughout college. And so, you know, no one pushed me to do this. I was just always somebody that was like wired to just go all in. Like I was waking up every single morning in high school doing 1,000 abs and 500 push-ups a day. Like people thought I was lifting weights. I wasn't. And so I was just trying to get faster. I wanted to get a scholarship. I wanted to get out of East Knoxville. I wanted to go out in the world and see new things and meet new people. And I wanted to be an Olympic track athlete. And so I was dieting and I lost weight, but then I plateaued and I couldn't break through that. I just wanted to run faster. So I started seeing food as like my enemy. And I was trying to like starve myself. That wasn't working because I'm an emotional eater. And so I started throwing my food up. And it was like no one knew. Like I was able to hide it. I was throwing my food up in high school, mostly like my junior and senior year. And then I got a scholarship. So I'm like, okay, this is working. I got a full scholarship to an all-SEC school, University of South Carolina. And before I went, I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore, I'm gonna quit. But by that time, my pattern with food was so unhealthy. So when I got to college, I started binge eating, alone in my room at night, just like couldn't stop eating. And then I would either throw it up that night or keep it. And then the coaches are just like, what's happening? Where's the girl from high school? So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to go back to doing that again. Then they're putting me on 6 a.m. cardio in the mornings. And so it's like, now I'm tired. Then I'm sad. I go eat again. And then either I throw it up or I keep it. Then I go do cardio again. Now I'm not running fast at all. My body is just so messed up and I'm hating food. So I ended up having to transfer from there because the coach is just like threatened my scholarship basically. And so then I transferred and went to Texas A&M. And I tried to, do the same thing. Like I started training in the summer and I got in shape and then things started just crashing down because when I was in college my freshman year too, I got depressed because my identity was attached with track and how I performed was how I thought of myself as a person. Like, oh, you just slow, you're gonna have to go back home to your hometown and you're a failure and you're slow. And I just got like super depressed. This 8-year-old girl who's like from this small little inner city into college and just young and just all messed up. And so I got put on antidepressants and medication. So when I transferred my sophomore year to Texas A&M University, I was like, I'm stopping it. Again, this is a fresh new start. I'm stopping my medication. I'm gonna train, do all of this. Well, I got in shape, everything was going good, and then everything just like started falling apart. And I just felt like I was trying to like reach this finish line and the finish line just kept being moved. And I couldn't explain what was going on and I was isolating myself. Like I would be in a room with people, like a group of people, and they would be talking and I would just not say anything. And like, this is what it would be like if I wasn't here. Nobody doesn't even notice I'm not even engaged in the conversation. Like it doesn't even matter if I'm here or not. So it's just like these weird things were happening in my head. And one day my coach just asked me like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And I just broke down crying. And I ended up in a mental hospital for about a week. My parents had to come down. I had to tell them everything that was going on. And it was that moment actually that like helped me break through once I like opened up to my family. Because my family's always been like the biggest supporters of me. Like they have never missed a track meet, any band whatever concert, they've never missed anything. So they've always been super supportive, but they had no idea what I was going through. So once I opened up to them and they're like, just come back home. I was like, I don't want to come home. Come back home. We got you. Just come back home. And so I went back home. I quit track. I was like, I don't want to run track anymore. They got me, come to find out you're not supposed to stop your medication like cold turkey. You have to wean yourself off of, and that's what happened. So they got me back on it. They weaned me off the correct way, put me in therapy. I'm a big advocate for therapy and counseling. Got myself back together. And shout out to my coach at Texas A&M, Vince Anderson. He was the one person that he pulled me off the track team at a time where I felt like track was all I had. And he was just like, until you get it up here, you can't get on this track because this is what's most important. More important, you scoring points for us, it doesn't matter. So he was the first one to put my mental health first. And then I went to the University of Tennessee, got myself together, went back home, and I was trying to walk onto the track team, and like no other college wanted me. Nobody wanted to give me like no play, nothing. And I was like, oh man. And at the time, Heather Van Norman was the coach, as Odell's mom. And she was the person that was like, come on the track team, like come walk on. You have to sit out this year. There's nothing that you can do for us. You can't score for us. You can't even compete for us, but I'll train you for a whole year. And she got nothing out of it. And she was the one that really like started turning my life around. And then after she left, Sharon Couch was the next coach that came, and she was more of like a life coach than a track coach. And she invested into me, not just as like an athlete, but as a person. So I've had all these people that have invested into me when it comes to like my food health, my mental health, that all like contributed to the person that I am now. And so that's kind of like my journey with food, and like that's what I was feeling when I was doing that competition in the show, where I was like, I am having these triggers again where I'm thinking about food constantly, and I feel myself going back to like wanting to go into like the pantry and just eat, and I can't stop. And I was like, this is not good. I need to pull back and refocus. So
I live in the pantry.
That's because you were too skinny when you first tried out.
You know what? That's true. That's very true. So my first tryout, now we're talking about it, I was about 185 pounds, solid, on the scale. 180 to 190 pounds. And I remember I went into the trial and I was looking around, I'm like, dang, these look like football players. They look just like how it is now. Just all these swole, grown men. And I was just like coming straight out the military, and all we did was run in the military. That's all we did. We ran in the morning, run in the evening, run from thoughts, emotions, whatever it was, we was running. So when I came in, I was about slim. So I did the trial, and I remember the first thing they was telling me was like, you did well, you speak well, but maybe put on some size. I took that very literal. I gained about 40 pounds in like probably the next 12 months, because I said, whatever happens on this next trial, I want to make sure that I do every single thing that they told me to do, and that if I do get denied, consciously I'll feel better because I feel like I tried and attempted everything that they told me to do. But yeah, I was small, man. I was Slim Jim, man. Shoot, I was sliding through grass, man. You know what I'm saying?
that's sliding through grass.
Honestly, both of these questions, I was going to ask B before you said that. Y'all both come from amazing families.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, most guys, the stories is, you know, Belle Glades, you know what I'm saying? I was in Atlanta, a single mother. Like, you're grinding to make it. Like, that drive, the food stuff, and like the mental side of, like you said, your identity was so attached to track. Like, why is it like that? Because y'all had great family. You got mom and dad, y'all cool. Why don't y'all chill and have a good family? Like, why is your identity so attached to succeeding in something?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just built like that. Like, but a lot of it has to do with my parents. Like, it wasn't that failure was never an option in my family. They always just pushed for us to do more and do better. Like, for me, it was my brother, honestly. He was the first example for me to, you know, play sports, go to college. I got into sports because of my brother. I was young, he was playing football, went to a banquet, he got a trophy, and I got jealous. And I was like, why can't I want a trophy, how I get a trophy? Yeah. So mom said, you gotta play sports. So I was like, okay, cool, put me in basketball, soccer, gymnastics, track, put me in all the sports. They put me in everything. Like I played almost every sport in the book. I even tried tennis one time, and it was too hot because they put me on the tennis court in the summer. And I was like, that's not for me. I might have been a great tennis player, but we're never gonna find out.
Well, then Roblox showed
yeah. But they put me in everything, and they allowed me to figure out what I was good at and what I liked. And my daddy was just someone that was always like, you could do whatever you want to do. Like, he was, if I said I wanted to do this, he's like, you can do it. If I want to do this, you can do it. And he always told me, like, you start something, you finish it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but you have to finish it. But my daddy always pushed me. My mama always pushed us to go to college. My brother went to college, first one in our immediate family that went to college on My dad's side, like my mom's side, it was a different story. They architects and engineers and doctors. My daddy was from the hood, the projects. Like the most successful man to me is my father, what he's done with his life. But you know, when I go visit my mom's side, you know, they're all like, I do cancer research, and I'm an architect. I'm a doctor. Bianca, what do you do? I'm like, my best. I do my best. I'm in college. That's my excuse. I'm in college. So that's how it always pushed me. And then my daddy just always pushed me. He always wanted more for us. Even when I got into WWE, and I told my mom, like, I wanted to do a tryout. She's like, are you sure? My daddy's like, shut up. She can do whatever she want to do. You can do it, baby. But it's like my parents and my support system. I had a great support system that pushed me. So
I think mine is ego.
at least you honest.
That's true.
I mean, I just think it's ego. No, I think it's just also like just my mom and my parents always told me to max out everything. They said if you max out everything, then even if you get denied, at least consciously you know you tried your best. And by you maxing out, then you know you're gonna put 100% effort. And that 100% effort may be better than somebody else's 99 or 100% effort. And like I said, consciously you will feel better about it. I remember even from the first sports I was playing, whether it was soccer, basketball, football, wrestling, like she always told me to max out. If you max out, you do your best, then you can see the bar in which you need to improve. You can't improve if you don't try your best and you don't really know what the bar is. You don't know what the measuring stick is. But I know that was one of the main things they always told me, like always, always, always max out. Because if you max out, not only do you know where you are, but you know where you need to go.
So Bianca, she spoke about her struggles, you know, in college and with eating disorder and going through therapy and getting her mentals together. Seeing those struggles. And then as I was doing research, I think I saw a snippet, maybe it was on the trailer, I believe, where you said you're more than just Bianca's husband.
Yes.
And that brings us back to the whole Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles conversation, because people say, nah, you're just Mrs. or Mr. Simone Biles.
Right.
And also looking at some of the comments, watching your YouTube, looking at your pages, some people would say you're just her husband,
right,
and you don't have your own identity.
Right.
How do you deal with the fact that she's seen as the superstar?
Right.
You know, you look at her followers, like WWE, when I was growing up, they said, oh, it's fake, it's this, it's that, it's scripted, it's choreographed. They kind of pick the stars, you kind of decide, you already know beforehand who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. Like, how do you deal with the whole entire script of who your persona is versus, you know, who you are actually at home?
So that's a great question. I've always been told and raised that whatever the world views you, whatever how man views you, it's not how God views you.
Right.
And I know that when I'm home, I'm king. Like the world doesn't have to tell me anything else. Like that perimeter, I'm king. When it comes to my wife, my kids, my family, like they view me in a different way that the world could ever view me. So that right there automatically eclipses how the world sees me. So when I go out in the world, I can just perform. They can say whatever, they can bash me, they can turn me down, they can even deny me. But I know once I get there to that home, to those kids, my wife, my family, like they view me as king. And if they do, then I feel like I'm doing enough in the world. And
Is it easy to separate?
Oh, 100%. Because like, I know like, I love the WWE Universe and I love the world. And I know what my role is as a man to the world. I'm not God, I'm not Jesus. I don't have those powers, nor do I have those abilities. But I do have this amazing talents that I fulfill, that I can change the world, that I can inspire the world, that I can have them go out there and reclaim their own kingdom. You know, I know the world may view and put me a certain way, and that's okay. But I know instinctively in my mind, I'm king. When I'm home, I'm king. And I feel like that's the mentality that I've always lived with. I listen to Nas, Jay-Z, and everything, how they always talk about how kings handle their stuff. And they don't really have to necessarily worry how the world places or put them in life, because just like you all, you got your own lives. You got your own kingdoms, you have everything you're taking care of. So like, whatever the world says about you don't matter, because you know instinctively what you have taken care of. And sometimes we already know comments are just something to make them feel better about themselves. If that's what makes them sleep better at night, that's perfectly fine too. But I know instinctively, like when I go home, everything's in place, everything is ran a certain way, and I know they can't handle what I do there the way I do. And that's the confidence that I take in the world, because I know when I go out there and everything else is a plus, it's a blessing. I'm going out there, I'm doing my rounds, taking care of business. I come home and business is even more settled. Because I feel like, me personally, I feel like a lot of people lose trait and lose themselves when they try to find their identity in the world. The world's constantly changing, constantly shifting. One thing that's good is bad tomorrow. One thing that's bad now is good tomorrow. And like if I find myself constantly trying to shift for the world, which can easily be gone in a split second or injury or a tweet versus home, like why am I catering to something that's interchangeable versus something that's concrete? And that loses focus for what I really, really, truly need to take care of. So that's just the mindset I always live with. It doesn't ever bother me. If anything, it motivates me to go like, okay, that's what y'all think. I'm gonna show you what this fine ass husband can do.
Oh gosh. Hey,
You know, hey,
but
I got-
also too,
I might be a husband, but ain't nobody looking like this. You know what I'm saying? He's a looker.
Oh, don't start. Don't start
See,
that.
that's who
Don't-
started this shit last
Don't
time.
start that.
It's hard.
It is.
As I tell people all the time, man, they don't know the burden we carry, looking like we, burden we carry.
So here's another thing too. I think people have to understand too. Like it's a lot of like, you got to put your ego aside a lot. Like, hey, your wife's doing this. What are you doing? Being a husband, supporting the home, staying in shape, laying my hand, hand down. You know what I'm saying?
Laying the concrete by the pool. So it's a safe space for all of the cookouts.
Yes,
that you
yes.
guys.
Y'all were talking about construction?
Yeah, we're talking about construction.
Oh man, I thought we were going somewhere else.
I think he was more talking about plumbing than
plumbing.
construction.
Yeah,
But
you gotta get the pipes in.
so when you first off, you're a terrible reality TV husband. Right, what I like about reality TV is it makes me feel better about myself. When I see those husbands and those dudes on reality TV, I point to them at my house to talk about how much better I am. See, at least I ain't doing that. You ain't never seen me argue with none of your homegirls. You know what I mean? Here you are, supportive, and I'm taking care of my kingdom. Nah, we don't need a season 2. God, nah, but I do believe though, but that is amazing. And a lot of times, what matters in the house isn't what matters outside.
Right.
But if you know where your focus is, if you know where your strength comes from, where your support comes from, then that's all that matters. And both of you seem to know that. But you mentioned people saying, okay, she's doing this with her career. What are you doing with yours? Like, it's difficult to compete with what you've done, whether you're a woman or man, your husband, your friend, an outsider, because it all does seem like a meteoric rise. And it's also historic to have accomplished what you've accomplished. You go back to you and Sasha at 37, WrestleMania 37, the first time that's ever happened. 2 black women headline the show. For you, what has the experience been like to go from that young woman that you were talking about on the journey and transferring 2 times and having to sit out of something you love to do, CrossFitting, and then getting to this point and now truly being an icon, an idol to so many based on what you've accomplished?
It's been interesting. I think that's the best word, because I've done a lot. I've accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time. People actually think I've been on the main roster, like WWE main roster, for way longer than I have. Been going on with my fourth year, and I've accomplished more in these 4 years than some people accomplish in their entire career. I've been able to main event WrestleMania and make history with that, where some people never even get to WrestleMania. I won an ESPY off of that match. I'm currently the longest reigning women's champion, Raw Women's Champion in WWE right now. I've done so many things. I've made so much history. I'm on the cover of the 2K video game right now alongside with Rhea Ripley, the first black woman to ever do that too. Thank you. But it's all happened so quickly. So it's one thing when you have a lot of success in your career, but it's a long career. When it happens so quickly, now everybody's like, okay, what are your goals now? What more do you have to accomplish? I think I did an interview last year, and the lady's like, so are you ready to retire? Ma'am, I've only been here 3 years at this point.
Right.
What do you mean? So you have to find new ways to motivate yourself, to push yourself. I will say last year was one of the hardest years of my career because I was exhausted. I was busy. I was champion for over a year. I was filming a reality series with my husband. I was doing all these different appearances. Like, people, they don't understand that, you know, you want to be champion, but with that comes a schedule. In WWE, we do not have an off season.
Mm-hmm.
There is no off season. We're wrestling 4 times a week, at least 3 to 4 times a week. We're in 3 to 4 different cities every week. We're driving to these cities. We're not catching like jets and stuff. Like, we're driving to these cities 4 hours overnight. So he could tell you it was times I'm crying and I'm exhausted, and I could be crying before my music hits, but when I go out there, I'm smiling and I'm happy. At the same time, you know, people have opinions about what you're doing, not even realizing how much of yourself that you're giving. So, you know, you have this dream of where you want to have all this success, and then you get it and you're like, this is tough. This is hard. And you have this, for me at least, I thought that when you get to the top, everything's great, everything's perfect. You're at the top. Your self-esteem should be all the way up here. And for me, when I got to the top, my self-esteem went boop.
Wow.
I've never questioned myself more in my life. I dealt with imposter syndrome like crazy, especially because WWE wasn't my dream. Like, I remember my tryout, and at my second try, it took me 2 tryouts. My second tryout, they told me, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when we're going to bring you, but we're going to hire you. And I went to the airport, and it was this girl, and she had her phone, on the back of her phone, she had all these WWE stickers, and she was saying, I wonder if they're going to call me. I've been wanting to be a wrestler since I was a little girl. And I'm like, I am still in this girl's dream. And someone who never thought of being in WWE, now I'm main event in WrestleMania, now I'm the champion, and am I supposed to be here? Do I really know what I'm doing? Like, questioning myself, and then feeling like I need to have something that I need to prove. Like, I main event at WrestleMania, I was the longest reigning champion. I still felt like I have something to prove, and my matches aren't good enough, and I was questioning myself so much.
How much does a moment like that, though, seeing the WWE stars and hearing someone say that's been their lifelong dream, how much, not necessarily pressure, but how much does that make you say to yourself, I do have a responsibility to do this job at a high level, to excel at a high level?
That's what made me go all in. Like, when I first got here, I was doing CrossFit. I was like, I'm still gonna do CrossFit. I'm still gonna do all these things. And once I heard that, I'm like, nope, I'm letting everything go. I'm going all in with this, because this is, people would die to be here. Yeah. They want to be here. This is a dream to them. And I didn't realize this was my dream until it was my reality. Like, my journey here was different, but and that's what makes me realize, like, what's for me is going to be for me. And that's what I rely on. And I go to let me know that I do belong here, because this is where my journey led me to.
You know, your dream and journey was different. Like, I saw the picture, you skinny too when you had the little belt. I didn't know what was bigger, you or the belt, when you had it on your shoulder. But watching you two watch one another was one of my favorite parts of getting to be behind the scenes of what you guys do. You know, like Elimination Cage, when you climb to the top, so my question is, right, there are all these outside perceptions of what wrestling truly is. It's obviously an art, it's obviously entertainment, and watching you two perform, it's athleticism like crazy. You crying, right, when he gets his tag team WrestleMania win, right? All of those emotions make everything seem to me like this junk is fresh. How much do you know walking into the arena about what's going to happen that night, and how much do you share with one another?
It's 2 different things.
It's 2 different things. So we do share everything with each other. But I will say, this last Mania, I kind of tricked her a little bit.
And Elimination Chamber. Actually, you don't. He wants to share everything with me about his matches. And I'm like, do not tell me.
But I can't.
Because you're a crazy man.
Yeah.
And you're going to stress me out.
So it's like a give and take, because I know how wild I am, and I know if I tell her like what's going on, it's probably going to get shut down. You know, like a lot of things around the house. You know that I want to try to personally do. But anyway, that's another conversation. But no, I think it's a thing where just we do like sharing everything, but also like having that genuine response when it does happen.
Yeah.
You know, because we keep it fresh and like we don't keep anything away from each other. But when it comes to like wrestling, unless it's like something that's like, I don't know, something that's off the record, I guess, sort of say, you know. But we usually try to keep each other's like responses like genuine, like surprising, like
Even for our families, like we don't tell our families anything. We let them go watch. We let them go enjoy it. They don't know what's happening. For WrestleMania, he actually tricked me because he said something I heard him say something to one of the guys he was in the match with that made me think that they were winning, that the other people were winning. So when I was watching and they won, I was like, whoa, wait, and it's a WrestleMania win. Like, you're winning at WrestleMania.
Can't tell her all your moves.
Yeah. So, but that's it. Like, it's kind of like wrestling is an art. We see it as an art. And we feel like if people actually viewed it as an art, they would respect it so much more and understand it. When we get to the arenas, sometimes people are like, what's your match tonight? I don't know.
Right.
You don't know yet? Nope. It's 3 o'clock. You gotta go out there at 8 o'clock on live TV. Yeah, I don't know yet. We're gonna figure it out. So when you see us out there, it's truly an art of how it all comes together. It is scripted to a sense, but things change out there. We're out there working together. Sometimes time gets cut. You're on live TV and you think you have 10 minutes and you go out there and you have 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Now you got to figure out how we're going to do this in 3 minutes, or you get an extra 5 minutes at it. Well, now we got to think of what to do in 5 minutes, and we're out there on live TV. So it's not as scripted as you think.
That's why you do so much dumb stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, makes total sense.
Because it's like, gotta fill time, you know?
Or when we're cutting our promos and we're out there cutting a 10-minute promo, we don't have a teleprompter. Actually, teleprompters kind of freak us out when we go to like award shows and we have to read a teleprompter. I'm like, just give me the script so I can remember it.
Yeah.
But we don't have a teleprompter. Everything's live TV and things mess up. Sometimes you might have something planned and it messes up and you have to fix it when you're out there. So
That's awesome.
it is truly an art to what we do. It is live acrobatics, it is drama like Broadway, it is like your favorite sports team, like watching your favorite sports team play and watching Broadway with the theatrics and the drama with Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Soleil, it's everything all in one. So
Kind of like your favorite podcast, because we do that a lot.
there you go.
And we don't have
You gotta
teleprompters,
improv.
you know what I'm saying? We go places, we see teleprompters, we like, what is all that about?
Nah, let's pivot
You know what
somewhere
I'm saying?
Let's just pivot. There you go.
I gotta ask, because the Andre the Giant doc, when all guys were talking about it, and they say they like whisper in the ear, like, hey, choke slam. Can you be like, nope? Hey, I'm gonna jump on your head. No, you're not.
Depends who you in the ring with.
Yeah, it depends on who you're in the ring with. But also, too, like, unfortunately, like, injuries do happen here. And I think that's just with any sport, like, it's just going to happen. But I think the art in it, is, as she was saying, was kind of piggyback what she was saying, is like, what we do is one take.
Right.
Like, your favorite action movie, your favorite action heroes, they get multiple takes. They get a stunt double. They get a break. Us, no. Like, if you're out there, it's live. If something doesn't go right, you have to kind of, what they call it, the magic. You have to perform the magic of, like, not letting the crowd know that something went off. There's a miscue. It's been times where it's been happening to both of us. You might get rocked a little bit, and you just gotta keep going, and because it's live, it's one take, and like, I think that's where the art of it is like, we have literally one take to do all of these things that you see and not mess up and convince you all of what's happening in the ring is not only just real, but you feel it. Because we're also storytellers too.
Right.
Most of the time, people may not even know who we are. But if they watch a match and they see the things that we're doing in there and the story that we're trying to tell with our bodies live on one take, that's the art in it too. And I think that's what drew me ever since I was a kid.
And as you, like you say, you just pointed and you say, yeah, I don't know what point y'all are talking about. But
WrestleMania 38, I was in a match with Becky Lynch. And this is when things can mess up. Things can mess up at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Where you're in front of 80,000
86,000 people. You know?
And she's coming off the top rope. She's doing a Molly go around where she jumps up, she's on the top rope and she does a front flip and I'm supposed to catch her. Well, I was too far for one. And when she came down, her legs were kind of close together. So when I went in, instead of like catching her legs here, I just took a boot to the eye. Becky with the big old boots, straight to the eye.
Heel,
And-
like literally the heel hit. And they showed it in slow motion. We was in the back like,
Yeah, in the back in Gorilla where you're watching, where all the monitors are.
y'all knew.
That's where it all happens. You're like, oh, like I can hear the whole crowd. And the whole time I just automatically feel my eye just swelling. And we were supposed to do some other stuff and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, no, no. She's like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. You know, so and it's at WrestleMania in front of 8,000 people, you have to figure it out while you're out there, and that's the art of it. And it's funny because when we're watching each other, we always say, I actually get more nervous watching him than I get nervous when I'm in my match. He gets more nervous watching me than he is when he's in his match because
way more.
You want them to do so well, but you can't help them. Like, you're like watching and you're doing this, like, go to the left, like, come on, go to the left, like, go to the right. And he's just like this wild, crazy man. Like, he make my underarms like sweat and itch when I'm watching him. I'm just like, I'm on the verge of like an anxiety attack, but it's really cool because we're in it, so we hardly ever get to be fans.
Yeah.
So we like to be fans when we watch each other.
what about, that's the one side of being, fearful for each other. What about the other side, riding home from one of them big matches? Can you be, here it is, that second round, you wasn't worth a damn. Like, the criticism because, like,
Chan,
y'all do the same thing.
they don't have rounds.
We know what you're saying.
That's a normal conversation though for us, you know.
No, we're very honest with each other because the way we see it, I'd rather you tell me than thousands of people on the social media tell me. Like, and I'm somebody, the athlete in me, don't sugarcoat it with me. Even when I get to the back, if somebody's like, good match, I'll be like, you know that wasn't no good match. Don't tell me that was a good match. Like, but I have to watch myself because the athlete in me, I'm very like, do not sugarcoat it. I have to make sure, like, when I talk to other people, like, you might not be like me, but we're the same. Like, we were both athletes. I think last TV, we were in the car and I'm like, babe, you did this gesture one too many times, or he's telling me you nipped up 3,000 times. Like, pick one time to do it. We all know you athletic, like, or that thing you did, don't do that again. Yeah. Or
Damn, nigga, who you waving at?
I'm trying to find Jesus. Oh gosh, that's so funny, man.
What we see and what the fans see is all surface level, right? They see you guys performing, doing your things, and they get to cheer for you. But the preparation, the thing that goes unseen, like any sport or, profession, how much time actually goes into the preparation component where you guys are memorizing your spots and having to recall this, recall that? What's the workload like?
Average lifestyle, like when it comes to dieting, I feel like that's just a lifestyle, as you all know. Like, the dieting is nonstop. But average or regular day, when you walk into the building, like she said, like, you may not necessarily know what, your segment is. You may have an idea, but if you have a match, okay. You have the match. What the preparation goes into is, it's a lot of things that go into it. For one, what is the current story? What are you guys trying to get across? How's your body feeling? What can you do? What can't you do? And what is the story going forward? Because, I do the frog splash, I do these dives, I do all these crazy things, but is that necessarily time to do it for this particular match, for this particular story?
Right.
And we live in an environment where we we thrive and we live off of reactions. Our whole environment is reactions. And so when you're preparing, you having all these things in mind, like what's going to get the most reaction, what's going to tell the best story, what's going to get the most overall feel, what's going to evoke the most emotion out of these fans. And if your first match or last match, you also got to put in account of the matches that happened before you, because you don't want to be doing the same thing in their matches because you may not get the same responses, or they did it, you know, already. You know, that's why people don't do dives or frog splashes after me, because it's not going to be better.
Right. And that's your finisher, the frog splasher.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Frog splash.
Too.
He goes out of the.
Made me nervous.
He goes out of the frame. Sometimes they have to do a wide frame.
Yeah, I'm the
So if
only.
they're close, he'll go out of the frame.
Yeah.
It makes you nervous.
Yeah, I'm
For
old
what?
now. Because I'm old now.
Yeah,
like when I was young. Yeah.
You know, he's scared of heights.
I am.
He gets
That's
scared
why I
every
do
time
it.
he climbs up
So
there.
Batman, well, obviously Batman and Superman, but Batman's one of my superheroes, and I remember like he uses bats because he's afraid of them. So I do the frog splash because I'm afraid of heights, and it's the last thing that I do, and I try to make it as most spectacle as possible. And every time I'm up there, I'm thinking like not only just my fear of heights, but all the times I jumped off my grandparents', you know, porch to go onto the mattresses we pulled out in the basement, or all the couches I broke in my mom's house, and just all this, everybody's watching me, you know, just the fear of like all of the pressure and everyone's watching, and oh, you're very, very high, and you have to go higher to the ground. So I think I just get a rush of all of those things happening, and then when it gets to that point where it gets crazy, I take off. Because they say like when you get to that point, you just gotta leap. So that's what I do every
That
time.
is crazy. And yours is the Argentine face.
I call it the KOD, the kiss of death.
right?
That's my finisher. And nobody's ever kicked out of it. That's one special thing about my finish. They never kick out.
Not even
and
Ted?
He's actually taken it. I've actually done the KOD to him before. In this ring, actually.
Yeah.
We were practicing and I did the KOD to him. I do a hair whip, because girls like to pull my hair,
Oh, the hair
all
whip.
the time.
That's how you come out too.
I come
Skipping?
all the time. Skipping,
Go ahead.
coming out all the time.
I know what you want to go ahead.
I had no. Y'all know the wrestling moves, but y'all are sexually involved. Is there any of that? Have you KOD'd him naked? Have you frog splashed off the dresser? Like I had to know. I had to get to it sooner or later.
Well, I've done some diving in my day. You know?
I was like, absolutely not. If you bring anything wrestling related, absolutely not. I don't want no wrestling pillows. It was like I think there were some like wrestling comforters at one point, or blankets. I'm like, I don't want to see none of that.
B, I saw him crawl out of the bathroom with the leather helmet on. Now I
She
saw
liked
you.
it. She liked it. She
What
liked
did
it.
I say? What's my favorite word? Sometimes?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You know what that means. I'm married too. That's like not in front of not in front of him.
You know, you guys, you know, the relationship was a huge part of the show, but it's also about your journey through the WWE, which from a lot of us on the outside, we didn't understand, or I didn't understand. You know, I even watched the movie Club. My dad was a huge Von Erich fan. You know, and to see different things that went into it back in the day, and obviously some of it's traumatized. But I love what you said at the Hall of Fame when you were talking about, you know, you've watched people like Stacy Keibler cross over. And that could be something that you guys would be looking to do when you think about the progression. I talked to Peter Rosenberg yesterday, right? Because I wanted to prepare for this.
Rosenberg.
And he was like, yeah, you know, I call her Jane Cena. Right? And you know, like I was like, first off, John Cena is I met him recently, one of the biggest stars ever in WWE, but he was always the good guy. Y'all have become like the loving, great couple, everybody, America's sweetheart. When you guys are so awesome. Y'all ever think about turning heel? Like ever become, like y'all could become the villains together, and she could make you some more of them tight pants you couldn't get up over your kneecaps.
I need the tight pants. So I'm a villain at heart. I'm a villain in real life. She doesn't believe it, but I truly believe that I'm a menace in real life. You know, she doesn't see it that way, but only reason why I see it that way is because I'm very blunt and honest when it comes to like a lot of situations.
Yeah, but they just recently, he's in the faction right now that he just joined. They tried to make them heel.
They did. They did try.
And they went out there, and the crowd said, "Ah!" And then he did all this bad stuff, and they were like, "Ah!" They couldn't get booed, so they were like, "Never mind, you guys can't
Okay,
be heels."
so if you're the villain, you're supposed to be hated.
You're supposed to be booed. You're supposed to be hated. You do things to garner that type of reaction.
Yeah.
And they were doing everything to try to get that reaction, and they wouldn't boo him.
Well, you also know it's hard. It's very hard to get booed when, like, every decision she makes, at least on camera, you say things like, "I respect that." Sometimes, B, you have to put yourself first. When you're doing so much for the world, you know what, B? I accept that. I love the fact that you're thinking about yourself, and I love you. God loves you. You are sweet. You are kind. I also can't boo you, because if I boo you, now I'm the bad person. And you know, black people, we grasp on to good things. It's the reason he got in trouble for saying something about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So now we for sure can't talk about. Yeah, you can't. You for sure.
I'm talking about no black people bad now. I'm telling y'all, don't do it.
For you, I think so. Now I want to get her name right. It is Jade Cargill, right? She's now become a part of the WWE, which is amazing because, you know, at one point there were two other African-American females who left. One has now since come back. And what I love about watching you skip out, because that's what you do, is you would think it would only be these little brown girls with the long ponytails. But you see blonde ponytails and all of how much of that responsibility of being a representation of not only women, but of black women are you conscious of?
All of it. Since the very beginning. Since I got into WWE, even being here at the Performance Center when I was in NXT, which is where you start first, I've always been very intentional on bringing my full self, my culture, like being unapologetically me. In NXT, I was more of a heel character. And I was very cocky, I called it overly confident. My thing is, I'm not dimming my light for you. That's your insecurity showing through. I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna be unapologetically me. I'm a black woman as well, that's how I'm showing up. Now I'm on the main roster, I'm more of a baby face, and I've switched it over to more of the confident side. I call myself the EST of WWE. I'm the strongest, the fastest, the roughest, the toughest, the quickest, the greatest, the best. Anything good ending in EST, that's what I am. And so I use that as motivation for everyone else to show up as the absolute best version of yourself. And I've carried over being intentional about bringing my culture from being in NXT over to the main roster. So, you know, doing things like being one of the first black women to main event WrestleMania, going next year to WrestleMania and going to them saying, hey, I have this idea for an entrance. I want to have an HBCU band bring me out. My high school band mimicked an HBCU band. So it was like nostalgia for me and explaining to them, not just any regular band. I need me an HBCU band, and explaining the cultural significance of it, of people who might not know what it is, but educating them on what it is and showing the WWE universe what it is. To the next year at WrestleMania, bringing out the Divas of Compton, all little black girl dance group who looked like little mini ESTs, had the long braid, because I was going to these meet and greets and I was seeing all these little girls come up dressed like me. And it blew me away. Or Halloween is one of my favorite holidays now, because I'm seeing all these little girls dressed like me. And it's not to boost my ego, but it's letting me know that what I'm doing is working, and I'm doing it the right way, and it's an impact on these little girls. Like, I'm where I'm at right now because of the role models that I had, and I'm able to do that for them. So bringing them out there on that stage, and I'm wanting the other little girls to see themselves in these little girls and seeing how they have all this confidence in the world. Like, that's always been my goal, to show up as my full self and really just be representation all across the board. And what I will say is, we were at a point where it was, you know, all three of us. And I just saw it becoming something so huge, where we were all champions. And I saw it as, this is the first time where I feel like it's not just one of us, it's three of us. And now when people think about the women's division, they're gonna think about three black women. When the first women that they think of when they think of WWE women, it's gonna be 3 black women. I just saw it being something huge and monumental. And then it all kind of went away and I was the only one. And some people want to be the only one, but I felt like I was left by myself to do it by myself. And it's a lot of responsibility. And so now where we have Jade Cargill coming in and you have Naomi that's come back, and I feel like we're back on the right track. Representation is so important, but when you only see one, it's cool, it's good, because you see one and you're like, oh, I know that's possible. But when you see one, to me, it's like, it makes it seem like it's an anomaly. Like, you have to be lucky. That lucky one gets into it. Like, I remember being a little girl and I knew I wanted to perform and I couldn't sing. I tried to sing, but I knew I couldn't be a singer. So I was like, okay, maybe I can be an actress. But the one, like, real black female actress that I always saw was like Halle Berry. And I knew it was possible, but it was like, oh, but it's only one that I really see. So it seems like you have to be that lucky one. So it's very important that you have more than one.
Yeah. It almost makes it feel like they only reserve one spot for us as well. And it sometimes makes it difficult for people to see that there's more space for all of us. I love what you said about it was 3 of us. And also you talking about the 3 being a representation of what you see in WWE. So now if I'm a little girl, it's like I can bring somebody with me.
Yes.
I don't have to go by myself.
Yes.
I don't have to be a trailblazer. Not only a trailblazer, I don't have to push anybody off of their journey either, because there's enough space for us. So I do think that was beautiful in what you said.
Speaking about this in the WWE, when we were growing up, I'm showing my age now, I was a Bill Goldberg fan, back then. But it was the thing where Vince McMahon called Booker T a nigga. It was the thing where Hulk Hogan, he didn't finish the word, but he was about to write. We knew where those letterings were going. But now to see the progression, and like you're saying, to have all these black wrestlers coming up, is it truly different? Because when I was a kid, that was for old white dudes.
Yeah.
Old white dudes wrestling. I felt funny watching Bill Goldberg when I was a young kid.
And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do this reality show. Because being at the ESPYs, I remember it was me and Sasha at the ESPYs, and we were on stage, we were getting our award. And it was some comedians that were, I guess, like in the commercial breaks doing some jokes. And they were like, wait, WWE got some black girls, and they look, what? And it's like, yeah, you gotta come watch. So it's evolved, and he's now in his faction. It's him, Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Brianna Brandy, 4 black talents. You have New Day, who's been there for years, and people don't even realize that we've been here, and they've been here. We need come over and watch. Like, that's what's beautiful about WWE, is that it transcends across like all religions, races, genders, ethnicities. It doesn't matter. Anybody can watch and see someone that they relate to, and it's really cool that now you're seeing even more black talent being showcased. And like, we're not a monolith either. It's different types of black people. We're just regular people. They're just black.
Why y'all lied at the Hall of Fame and told Angelo his suit was cool? Because that junk was poo.
Well,
No.
But you guys see where he started. Listen, this is the guy that wears sweatpants and house shoes everywhere. And I'm like, dog, 'cause if you wear house shoes to the Hall of Fame, we're gonna have some issues.
Okay, she's being too nice. Because when he walked up, she was on some, that's how you show up, all this. He had on black and red shoes. He had a green tie on, Tez, that wasn't even tied all the way. He still had the joint on the suit jacket where it tell you where you got it from, Jose Bank, whatever. Come on now.
So we didn't see him before we walked in, because like that goes back to the conversation we had earlier. We wanted a genuine feel, and when all that pressure and the cameras are there, you can't be like, can't talk about black folk.
There you go.
Talk about black folk.
We gotta hype them up.
So there go that answer right there.
I do have a question. The Street Profits, though. How did y'all come up with the name? Because I thought it was, when I first heard it, like prophet, like in the Bible.
Yes.
But Street Profits, and it's spelled like prophet. Like,
yes.
So talk a little bit about, because she's mentioned it's not a monolith. You guys are totally different. She talks about the entire faction of what you have.
Right.
Being a black man and having someone like Angelo, but also Omos, just all of those people that are with you. What has that experience been like to share with those guys?
Oh no, I think it's amazing. And like she said, like for us to come together, like at the time period of all of our careers is beautiful. Like Brianna Brandy was actually released like before we even started this faction. And now she's back, and this is like the first like big thing she's doing. Bobby's been doing this ever since I've been watching like wrestling. I know he's gonna hate me for saying this. Bobby been doing this since I was in like middle school. So like for me to be attached to him now, and he looks younger now,
Right.
and he looks better now than he did 20, 30 years ago. I don't know what fountain of youth he's drinking from, but I need to find out where it is. And me and Dawkins been together ever since like I started my NXT journey. Like this is the only stint I've ever done. Like in WWE, you get like, you know, your roles and you get the things you get paired with. And like I got paired with the Street Profits, and I literally been with the Street Profits ever since day one. And a lot of other people, they'll jump from this gimmick to that gimmick to this gimmick to that gimmick, 4 or 5 or even 8 different gimmicks by the time they get to how long I've been here. I'm lucky enough to say like I literally made this one thing work since day one. And by all of us coming together at this start, it's a fresh start for us to do something different from what we have been doing. Now the Street Profits, we, these fun guys that come out with the cups and everything, get the crowd going. Well, can't do that no more. But anyway,
He's still waving.
we come out with the fun cups and everything, but like now we're at this stage in our career where it's been 3 years since we won some tag team championships. It's been 3 years since we had some type of title gold. And my wife's had probably 2 or 3 different reigns since in that time period.
Triple Crown champs.
But
People forget that.
So we also won every single tag team championship in the WWE when it comes to Raw tag team championships, SmackDown tag team championships, NXT tag team championships. We're actually the first African American tag team to be Triple Crown champions. So we've done a lot of things like in this tenure. And I think now it's just us showing another layer. Like we're like an onion. So we're just peeling off another layer to show everyone else what else can the Street Profits do. They can have a good time. They can have great matches. But what else can they do? And I think that's the beauty of our character arcs here. Like we can constantly always just do something different, evolve, show a different side of us that the fans haven't seen. Like we've been with this tag team for a long time. Now you get attached to someone like Bobby, you bring in B-Fab, now it's all these different elements, so now they can see a different side of us now.
So we're gonna get to the WrestleMania that's coming up.
Okay, here we go.
At some point though, because I have a more important question. I could be like moms and pops or moms or everybody at every one of your meet and greets. We could talk about the finale. Once again, Mr. I accept everything because I'm the kindest, gentlest sweetheart in the history of husbands. You said, your 2 babies are at the house now because they're now old enough to sort of take care of themselves along with cameras. But your mama is constantly on you. And I thought you said something that was beautiful, and you said, I don't want to give up my career to start a family, but I also don't want to give up starting a family because of my career. How much have you grappled with the question of when is it time to start a family? Because unlike men, right, if you guys start a family, he'll get to continue wrestling throughout that. It will change your life, not only in the moment, but for the rest of your life, your career. How difficult has it been trying to figure out when is the right time to have a baby?
Very difficult, because like you said, that's the main thing. Like some girls get into WWE at 21 years old, 24. I got in at 27. I got called up to the main roster around 30. So I feel like I got like a later start. I'll be 35 this year, right after WrestleMania. I'll be 35. And exactly what you said, I don't want to sacrifice my career to have a baby, but I don't want to sacrifice having a baby for my career. So we're at the point now where it's some days when I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Okay, I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. It's very confused. I'm buying baby clothes just because I'm excited. And then I'm just like, I'm still kind of in the same position, but we've been, just discussing different options. Like, I'm constantly always trying to figure out what is the perfect time. But being in WWE, things constantly change, things constantly evolve. You don't know when your time is going to come, and if it's going to come, and when it comes, how long it's going to last. Opportunities come from out of nowhere. Like even for me, when I went to main event WrestleMania, I didn't even know that was happening. Like, went to Royal Rumble, won the Royal Rumble out of nowhere, and that's your guaranteed spot to WrestleMania. So, and it's been a journey and a ride ever since. So, we kind of just go back and forth with that. But I just feel like having a baby is one of the biggest decisions, if not the biggest decision that you can make in your life. Like the way that I see it is, you can take a new job. If you don't like the job, you can quit. If you want to move to Atlanta, you can move to Atlanta. If you don't like it, you can move back to Tennessee. You can get married. Like some people say, oh, I have a baby, but I won't get married. To me, getting married is the easier decision because God forbid, like I like my husband and I love my husband, but God forbid if you don't like and love your partner, you can get divorced. But once you have a kid, you're not supposed to, let's just say, you can't just quit. That's a huge decision. It's a huge responsibility. And for me, I'm at the point now where I think my decision now is, do I want to do both? Do I want to try to have a baby and then come back and do both? Where now you're traveling with this baby and you don't have one day off, or you're on the bus and it's the baby's first birthday and you're celebrating the first birthday on the bus or leaving it at home. Or do I want to work for as long as I possibly can, retire, and then have a baby? So I'm still kind of in the same position because it's just a huge decision, but I know that I have a loving, supporting husband. I have a mother who is retiring this year and trying to make her way down to Florida and be the nanny. I think my dad might be worse than my mom, but I'm going to have an amazing support system. But it's really me just trying to figure it out. But I feel like we're in WWE at a time where women are shown that we don't have to choose. We can have it all. We have Becky Lynch, who is a wrestler, and she's a wife, and she's a mom, and she's doing it all. Like, we have multiple women in WWE who are having kids and still doing it. It's amazing. Like, the space that WWE is providing women to be able to have careers and make money and have babies and get married and have it all.
And the locker room is different now. Like I said, back then, like
Very
you didn't see
family-oriented.
like kids and family backstage. Now you see kids running around, doing wrestling moves. Like the environment's different. It's very welcoming to like family because, like she said, it's no off season, and like there's been plenty of like birthdays or FaceTimes that I would have to like make just because, you're working. And I think that has a lot to deal with it too, just seeing like the struggles that, we have to go through now with the kids of like not just constantly being there a lot. But they understand, they're little troopers. They eventually, I think they want to both be wrestlers. Like we're going there at night and like our daughter's in there watching her matches. She fall asleep studying her matches and everything. So I was like, y'all need to hurry up because daddy's limbs got about.
I mean, you said, though, at least you're getting to practice.
Yes.
Practice? Ain't nobody complaining about practice. Ain't no AI over here.
It's options, though. Like, we've discussed Steven freezing eggs and the process of all of that, but it'll happen. I just know how I am, though, like with my career and as a woman. I'm like, I don't want to just keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Life has been good just with us in this career. Maybe we should keep it that way. But that's what I'm scared that's going to happen.
Yeah. And it happens with tennis players all the time. Well, to be honest, getting pregnant messes up the bag. And that's what it is. It's like now they look at you in a different way. Like Serena came back, and Serena, and she was an older woman at the time, but she wasn't the same Serena beforehand. So that's the crazy thing about being a female athlete is that it messes up the bag with that. And you know what I do love about you on the show? Is when y'all were joking one time, you was like, hey woman, I pay a fourth of the bills around here. So you better respect me. Speaking about the money side of it, I love that joking side of it. But is that like, do you gotta, like if you want them Jordans, you gotta ask for the card?
So actually, I'm actually worse when it comes to it because I actually get so I have a problem. I really do. I have a problem. I have it's pretty bad. Like my friends has even had like this little mini intervention when they came over the house during the holidays. I said, y'all, it's Christmas. I don't need this. It's bad. But what I do is the camouflage is anytime I get shoes, I just get her some too. So that way.
I ended up on a sneaker podcast one time. And I was like, why am I here?
Right.
I was like, can my husband come? And then they were like, he can be on the second half. And so I'm on it and I keep saying, my husband bought me these. My husband, I'm like, can we just bring my husband on? Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Because he buys me so many shoes. But no, listen, this man right here, we joke about it on the show, but he is successful. He don't need me and I don't need him. We want each other. That's the beautiful part of it. But he makes his own money. I have a handsome, rich man that gives me safety, security, fidelity. Fidelity, is that how you say it? Fidelity. He's my peace. He's my best friend. Even in WWE, like he was a champion before me. He triple.
I'm about to say, I hope you wasn't crippled. No.
Damn.
Triple. I was hyping my man up. I was like, because it makes me mad when I be seeing. I be like, I don't know what y'all talking about. But Triple Crown champion. But nah, it's really cool. But I have somebody that allows me to go out there and pushes me and lets me be who I am. And it's like his success is my success and my success is his success. So
this place is a patience, it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
You know, like it's scripted, you know, people write in and storylines and everything. And like, I feel like if you stay healthy, like your time's coming. I truly believe like God has appointed and put me here and that my time's coming. So I feel like I'll be selfish to allow my ego to be in the way anytime she does something.
Right.
Anytime she succeeds, anytime she does well. Because when it is my time, I would want her to do the same things I'm doing for her now. You know, that's going to push me to go further. And I'm assuming that by me being supportive is pushing her to go forward. So I would want her to do the same thing to me.
Delayed is not denied.
If you do decide to go forward with the child or the pregnancy, you saw the Big Sean photo with the abs?
Oh, yeah.
They can always get your abs to match your shoulders and your, you know, I'm just saying. But no, I want to ask both of you the same question, like we ask all of our guests. Your biggest pivot, that one moment that without that moment, it would be no you.
My biggest pivot would be deciding to go back home when I was going through all my stuff at school, deciding to go back home with my parents and get myself together. That was my biggest pivot to the next era of my life. And then my next biggest pivot was coming to WWE because it scared me and I almost didn't come. I wasn't sure if it was a secure decision for me. It was so unpredictable. And to me, those are the two moments that changed my life. Like that, I feel like we're two different eras of my life. Right. And those are my two biggest pivots.
I would definitely say coming on the pivot.
Ah.
No, seriously, coming on the pivot. I feel like at this point in my life, like granted I've made all these decisions and I've seen where life has brought me, but like coming here is like a realization of everything that's happening and motivation to go do more. Motivation to challenge myself to go do better. Motivation to challenge myself to, of all these things we talked about today, to come back maybe in the future and talk about how I pivot from where I was to even go higher. So I can have that conversation.
I love that. April 6th, Lincoln Financial. Right. I have learned through you guys, because you were my windows into wrestling, WWE, that WrestleMania is like a big deal. Like that is like the Super Bowl for you guys. So what can we expect that night?
You good at hyping stuff up.
So I would say outside.
He actually really wanted to go first.
Wasn't prepared for this. I would say definitely this is the greatest and biggest WrestleMania of all time. I've been with the company since 2015, and to be here now for WrestleMania 40, to see everything my wife has done to this point, to see everything I've done to this point, to see the amount of people who have jumped ship to come back to be a part of this spectacle, this will be the biggest and best WrestleMania of all time. It's so big to the point that they had to elope, and to make it 48 hours. It has to be 2 nights now because we have that much massive talent there. What you definitely will see, as always, is high performances. This Friday, I have one more match to qualify for the 6-pack challenge at WrestleMania for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Me and my partner haven't won the titles in over 3+ years. And when we did win them, it was during the pandemic. So we didn't even have no rain in front of fans. We was literally walking out here in the PC just with no one. So like now we have a chance to like win this match Friday to go to WrestleMania to win the titles. And to us, that's big. Me and my partner have like suffered a lot of losses this year. Like I lost my grandfather last month and he literally just put his mother away 2 days ago. And so like for us, WrestleMania is not just our career, it's life. We've been having a lot of losses. So this for us is a pivot in the right direction to show like everything that we lost, like everything that's raised us to get us to this point that's no longer here for us anymore, like this is for them. Like we gonna put on for them. We're gonna show them like all the work y'all did, all the sacrifices y'all did, this is for y'all. So this is bigger than just WrestleMania. It truly is what it is, it's XL. So that's how we feel.
WrestleMania 40.
Yes.
Is where it's like you said, it's our Super Bowl. You get the best stories, the best feuds, the best matches, the best gear, the best entrances. It's the grandest stage of them all. It's where everybody brings their A game. I've been making my WrestleMania gear for about a month right now. It usually takes me like a day or two. Yes, you don't realize how many sewing machines I've bought on the road because I never finish my gear. So I get to the hotel, I always have to Instacart a sewing machine. But WrestleMania 4 is going to be huge. Everybody's trying to get to WrestleMania. The Rock came back. He's at WrestleMania this year. All of our family is going to be there. It's huge. But we're still both trying to get to WrestleMania at this point. But we're going to be there.
We're going to claim it. We're going to be there. We're going to be there, fly to the sky.
You always fly, for sure.
And stars come out, like it'd be a bunch of celebrities in the crowd. It's a bunch of people that are wrestling fans that you don't even know until you see them there.
It's the first one since the merger too, right?
Yep.
First
one since the merger.
But thank you so much. Like I know I had been trying to get it done for a while. I got to meet him playing golf. Just awesome humans, and I know it's difficult sometimes to do what you guys do athletically, but also understand you have to entertain and have like a normal, loving marriage in life. And you guys are an example of it. And I think we are blessed to have been able to show that on the pivot.
For sure.
So thank you.
I just want to personally thank you all, not just for this platform, but for you all's careers and the sacrifices you all have inspired me as a young black man to do my best. So thank you. God bless y'all.
Appreciate it.
My best friend gonna be happy because y'all probably don't know, but she been tweeting y'all.
Yes.
Put them on the pivot. So as soon as we found out, I called her and said, "Girl, we on the pivot." She says, "Probably because of me, because I tweet them all the time."
It's a wrap.
It was actually because Tez actually answered me. Yeah, my dog. My dog actually answered me.
That's love.
I'm so excited to do
That
that.
was awesome,
man.
God bless you.
You guys have so much to do.
Well, man.
Huge fan.
Thank you.
For sure.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust.